Hello and welcome. Through the toxic fog of COVID-19 disinformation emerges a glimmer of hope via a patriotic Canadian action group launching legal proceedings against its globalist government, challenging the calamitously unjustified lockdown and its disastrous consequence of economic terrorism. Any success in this noble endeavour will trigger an unstoppable domino effect throughout the world, increasingly aware of the COVID-19 criminal scam. Also aware of the disgraceful facts is the loathsome mainstream media, but knowing truth and actually reporting it are two separate entities, with lies and fear-mongering propaganda the entrenched foundation for everything they venomously vomit at your screens. Be that as it may, their threadbare narrative becomes ever more nonsensical with the non-stop flood of damning evidence and medical professionals' testimony, irreversibly debunking the notion of any authentic pandemic. Whatever this viral infection might be, it's still not isolated or specifically identified. It does not, never has, and never could qualify as a medical emergency. As previously reported, no effort to run the essential prerequisite pathogenicity assessing of Koch's postulates was undertaken by responsible departments, all corruptly performing as puppets of the criminal WHO and CDC. In spite of countless requests for an explanation why these key evaluations were not established before hitting the panic button, my inquiries are consistently stonewalled. As a colossal body of condemnatory evidence accumulates, the corrupt media shills, most especially the immoral trolls of breakfast TV, bolster their lies and multi-layered deception as sycophantic disciples of pure evil. I can't watch their offensive rubbish, but saw a brief YouTube clip of them authoritatively directing audiences to believe only what their big pharma-funded junk science technocrats spoon-feed them. These babbling TV hosts and so-called expert guests absurdly proclaim government is so concerned with your safety and well-being that they're willing to forego all safety testing in order to rush the satanic Luciferian black magic sorcery of a neurotoxic vaccine into production and mandatory deployment. After all, community health and welfare is the humanitarian reason why they ruthlessly trash the global economy, isn't it? An interesting historical footnote is this exact same statement was given to German Jews as they were loaded into freight trains headed for extermination. They too were assured by heavily armed guards it was for their safety and protection. Many wonder why active resistance was so lamentably absent from these doomed unfortunates when they had the chance to save themselves. Unbelievably, this COVID tyranny sees the same pitiful defeatism, with compliant multitudes submitting to health-impairing face masks, emotionally damaging social distancing, needless isolating, and unlawful lockdowns. Those intimidated into wearing ludicrous face masks should ask, why would the same evil forces polluting the skies with chemtrails, poisoning your water with neurotoxic fluoride and ecocidal fracking, poisoning your food with GMOs, microwaving your nervous system with 5G, and trying to force toxic vaccines, suddenly promote something to protect your health? Really? Again, all this cowed subservience to utterly nonsensical dictates with no authentic basis in law or a shred of scientific justification is dismally bereft of spirited resistance, most especially since no authentic medical emergency exists. Welcome to the time when Cov Idiocy took over the world. I never watch lurid horror productions, but I'm reminded of The Walking Dead when reviewing this appalling lack of common sense and the suicidal abandonment of personal responsibility. Avoiding the fate of gas chamber, concentration camp and killing fields victims requires personal responsibility and a willingness to defy institutionalized corruption before it's too late. In other words, don't allow the mass-murdering satanic criminals masquerading as government to terrorise you into being an obedient zombie. Take a resolute stand against this blatantly obvious genocide while you still can, citing the glut of Pol Pot, Hitler and Stalin wannabes. This megalomaniac trait is personified by despised Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, dictating manifestly harmful edicts of totalitarian overreach, which again have no foundation in law and no basis in reality. It's illegal to enforce a group of healthy people showing no signs of illness to isolate at home, to prohibit their travel and make them wear stupid masks. A clear and present health risk must be determined on an individual basis for every person in the group. The 3,000 odd people locked up in Melbourne were not assessed individually, did not receive individual orders or documents, and were never given the right of reply, subsequently triggering a mass lawsuit against the government for unlawful imprisonment. The out-of-control testing is designed to fabricate ever more cases while harvesting DNA for nefarious purpose, while coercing spyware track and trace phone apps. This malevolent criminal hoax has nothing to do with protecting health, but is moreover targeted at genocidal population control. Social engineering takes a step further via a program launched in late 2018 which sees a digital identity platform integrated into the Gavi MasterCard Wellness Pass, a digital vaccination record ID 2020 linked to MasterCard's click-to-play system powered by AI and machine learning technology called New Data. MasterCard, in addition to boasting its commitment to promoting a centralised vaccination record, aggressively pushes for a world beyond cash. Its partnership with Gavi heralds the globalist tyranny of coercing an unsought and unwanted biometric digital ID 2020 passport with vaccine records linked to a payment structure of an inescapable control system. This invasive spyware will track, scrutinise and surveil everything you do, wherein the slightest indication of nonconformity or dissent will shut down your ability to function at a mouse click. Needless to say, this calculated dystopia of dependency, debilitation and death is lavishly funded by Bill and Melinda Gates. Google and YouTube, in cahoots with all big tech, plan to wipe out all social media channels discussing vaccine safety. Colluding in this fascist censorship are Facebook and Twitter in an all-out assault to demolish freedom of speech and make informed discussion illegal. The spiritual war on humanity rages on countless fronts, wherein the most important consideration is how you respond to it emotionally. It is designed to continually provoke endless cycles of fear, anger, anxiety, division, and helplessness. This is a trap we must be aware of and careful to avoid. Understand and be aware of the issues, but do not allow them to negatively impact your emotional state while mindfully maintaining a neutral response. That may sound overly simplistic, but it comes down to embracing the infallible method of shifting focus from what's happening to how you react to it. You can't control the former, but you always have control of the latter. And in this, you win each and every time. Just try it. Thank you for watching.